Hey there folks, this is GreenXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 172. In the last episode, we were given the prerequisites that are shown on the screen below. An execution order for the third year's curse is required, so Mayo sort of ordered the mountain dogs to kill off or make disappear Rika's parents. And there's been a declaration of war from Uishi, which I didn't realise actually happened. I know he was blocked out from the hospital from seeing Sadako and all that, but I didn't realise that actually happened. But that's what we need to go for now anyway, so let's get going. Deep down I was prepared for something to happen tonight, once again. The first year, the workers were stirred into a frenzy, killing and dismembering the old man, and the second year the Hojo couple were killed through a fake accident. Since the dam protests, only people who have been hated by the villagers died on the way to Watanagashi. Died on the day. Some people in the village were calling the instance the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Now that the dam protests were over, there would be no meaning in the villagers' enemies being killed on the night of the festival, I thought. If that were true, then there were still some enemies left over. I thought that perhaps that would happen again on the night of the festival 3 years in a row. My hunch was right. At first, however, it looked so natural that I didn't think anything of it. The festival was nearing its end and the village officials were gathered under the main tent. They opened their beers and enjoyed the leftover corn and braised cow tripe from the refreshment stands. I was in the main tent too, being entertained by the villagers, so I was actually there at the scene of the third year's incident when it happened. Yet I didn't notice anything at the beginning. Hey Fude-san, what's the matter? Are you feeling sick? Most of the older folks in the village were heavy drinkers, but a few were lightweights too. The priest was one of the latter. The priest was a representative as well as a host during the Watanagashi festival, so every time visitors and guests arrived, he greeted them, and each time he was offered a drink, so by the night's end he was pretty worn out. That's why I didn't think anything of it to see the priest sitting by himself in a folding chair. The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was the one to tap his shoulder and ask him if he was alright. You okay? You drank too much, didn't you? Huh? Does your chest hurt? Sorry, I think I'm a little tired. Didn't you have heart trouble before? Getting sudden pains isn't a good sign. Dr. Irie! Dr. Irie! What's wrong? Is it your chest? That's not good. Ooh. When I saw what was going on, I noticed he was covered in a terrible sweat and was definitely not relaxing in his chair and enjoying the cool evening breeze. His face had a sickly pallor, and I thought he should lie down immediately. I should probably take you to the clinic. You okay? Can you hold on to my shoulder? Hey, somebody help. The priest doesn't feel well. What's wrong with my husband? Dear, are you alright? Takano-san. Perfect timing. The priest doesn't feel well, so I'm going to take him to the clinic. Could you please have the car come around here? Sure. No problem. So the priest and his wife headed to the clinic with Dr. Irie. I don't know about young people, but the elderly know their own bodies well. They almost never push themselves to the point where they start feeling ill. Especially someone like the priest. It was hard to imagine him drinking himself sick. The cumulative experience of my years was telling me something. I headed to the Irie clinic just in case. I tried to follow their car, but because the festival was almost over and all the stands were closing up, there was a lot of traffic going in and out, making it almost impossible for me to leave the temporary parking lot. More than 20 minutes had passed since the priest was carried in by the time I arrived at the clinic. 20 minutes. If it didn't take me 20 minutes, my involvement in this year's incident would have been quite different. I regretted not leaving on foot the moment I realised how hard it was to get my car out. All I get to do now is jot down the facts. Because between the time the priest left and the festival and the time I arrived at the clinic, during those 20 minutes this year's curse had taken place. The priest's condition changed for the worse right after he arrived at the clinic. He died. The autopsy results say it was heart failure, but how can I accept that? I don't think the priest was having health problems, and everyone was taken by surprise by this sudden event. Moreover, the wife of the priest disappeared too. According to the clinic staff, she was with him right after he died, but she's nowhere to be seen now. Of course, she's not at home either. Maybe someone poisoned the priest. During the dam conflict, the priest was frowned upon for his remarks. He said there was no need to make a big fuss, because the dam project would be cancelled anyway. The older villagers liked to hold grudges, and hadn't forgotten that, so even I had heard word of them talking about how the priest wasn't fit for the shrine to Oyashiro-sama. I called for backup and had them go search for the missing wife. With last year's fallen couple incident as precedent, it was easy to believe both wife and husband could become victims. The village's youth group got organised and searched for the village to the mountains, and as a result, we found a set of sandals and a will by the edge of the Onagafuchi swamp. The will said something about how her husband's death was the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and she was throwing herself in the swamp to calm the god's anger. In other words, she committed suicide by jumping into the swamp. Legends say that the swamp is bottomless, is connected directly to hell. Once you sink, you'll never come back. Divers from the police department searched the swamp, but her body was nowhere to be found. The past two mysterious incidents were solved individually, just as the higher-ups say, but something is odd about this year's mysterious death. The ill priest was carried to the clinic. His wife accompanied him. Within 20 minutes, the priest died of heart failure and the wife either committed suicide or disappeared. The death of the priest may really have been a fatal heart attack. But for his wife to assume that it was a curse and to commit suicide by jumping into the swamp, for all that to happen in 20 minutes just doesn't seem natural. The Faraday family has no relatives. Even if she was a true believer in Oyashiro-sama, how could she commit suicide while leaving behind her one and only daughter? Irie is hiding something too. But he's just a village doctor, which means he's nothing more than their pawn. If this is all a conspiracy to assassinate the priest, then there is someone who's pulling the strings. I had been starting to think that trying to tie the past two incidents to the village so forcefully was a bit overbearing of me, but this incident was enough to convince me that this series of cases involving mysterious deaths in Hinamazawa were all grounded in one intention. This incident has countless numbers of discrepancies, but someone from the village seems to be putting pressure on high command. And just like the past incidents, this one will be treated as an individual case and end up being forgotten. Since it happened 3 years in a row, everyone in the village will say it's the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I think that's the culprit's goal. After the war, belief in Oyashiro-sama became abdicated. Is someone committing these murders as a ritual to restore that god's dignity? The one pulling the strings? Must be the Sonzaki family. Yeah, you're a bit out there. A few months passed. Oyu Sonzaki said something like, it was natural for that priest to be cursed by Oyashiro-sama, and so the priest's case was lumped together with the mysterious Hinamazawa deaths, otherwise known as Oyashiro-sama's curse. At first, I simply wanted to avenge the old man, but now that case had grown into an abnormal one, centered on the village's faith. Damn it, the old man's killer is human. I won't let it be pushed off onto some nonsense curse. Ho. Okay, so the third year has been committed, and as we saw, there was a fragment to do with just the third year, I think. So we'll have a gander at that. Okay, only one left by you. We're not getting that yet. Third year's curse of Oyashiro-sama is required. There we go. The strange medicine that I can hardly remember was a capsule. Ah, that's a fragment as well, and that's another easy one. A red capsule. Or maybe it was an oval tablet. It was so red, it must have been a capsule. I can't imagine a tablet in that colour. It must have been a capsule. I think it was a little bigger than a normal one. I think. I can't remember. Although I can hardly remember, if I see that medicine again, it'll refresh my memory. That medicine strips away humanity. It takes away human soul, memory, emotion, and it numbs the human body. There are no thoughts, no interests, no will to stay awake or asleep. There's no sense of time. Sometimes a second can feel like an eternity, and other times I can almost see an hour hand move. Either way, there's no emotion involved. I can't feel any emotion. The medicine only lets me stay in bed and look up at the ceiling. Only the people who have taken it can understand this misery. What's more scary is that, while I'm on the medication, I don't realise how scary it is. I'm given the medication daily, and I keep losing all my senses. So when the medicine wore off by accident, I realised I should never take it again. Who is it? That's right, this isn't medicine that will heal me, it's just going to kill me slowly. If I continue to take this medicine, I probably won't be able to tell if I was dead or alive, and I would end up losing myself forever. I'll keep looking up at the ceiling, without any emotions, keep watching the clock tick forever. If I take the medicine again, I'll lose all the senses I've finally regained. I may never be able to bring myself back again. Since the day I realised that, I've been pretending to take the medicine, but thrown it away instead. If your doctor prescribes medication, you have to finish taking it, even if your symptoms are gone. I can hear my mother's voice. Anytime I went to the doctor's office when I was a child, my mother said to me. I usually got well before I finished all the medicine, so I didn't finish taking the rest. That's why my mother said that. But this is a different type of medicine. I don't even remember how old I was when my mother said that, but with this strange capsule in front of me, I have to try and get rid of my mother's voice from inside my head. I pressed down on my head with my elbows until it hurt, trying to get rid of what my mother kept telling me. Right. As my head clears, I start to remember the ugly side of my mother. My mother betrayed her family. She betrayed me and my father, who waited for her at home with dinner on the table. She told us she was busy with work, but she was having an affair. I know who it is. That was bad enough, but she asked my father for a divorce after he took such good care of her for so many years. But there's something else I can't forgive her for. She invited only me to meet with her new family. Not my father, just me. My father and I are family. Family means being together. Yet my mother tried to destroy the bond between my father and me. Not only had she destroyed her bond with him, she tried to destroy my bond with him too. When I remember, it makes me feel angry and hateful, and I can't forgive her. The back of my eyes start to hurt, and I could feel the hatred on my face. That overflowing animosity is aimed not only at my mother, but also the man she had an affair with. Uncle Akihito. I didn't like him teasing me, but he gave me an allowance, and I tried to have fun with me. I liked him very much, but his niceness was all calculated. He wanted to destroy the family bonds between my mother, my father, and me. That's why I shouldn't have said I liked him very much. That's right. I'm starting to remember and understand. I now know my true enemy. It was his fault that my mother started to have an affair. Because my mother was a very good mother. He was the one who made her a bad one, so he's the one who deserves the blame. When was the first time I met him? I think it was the time when my mother and I went out and had lunch at a restaurant. She introduced him as one of her colleagues from work. At that time, if I think about that first meeting, I think I felt something wasn't right with the way my mother acted around him. That's right, I did. I did think something was wrong. It didn't feel right. I wish I trusted my instincts then. I was a fool to think he was a nice person just because he gave me a strawberry from his piece of cake. It was not my father's fault, because I bet he never met Uncle Akihito. But I have. I've met him many times, and there were a lot of chances to realize he was my enemy. If I had a strong enough will to protect my happiness, I could have noticed that. Okay, I'm back. Right. I can't forget how my father looked on that day. I can't hear myself. Any better? There we go. Sorry about that. My father, who was so nice and gentle, grabbed his knees so tightly and cried so hard. He asked me if I knew Uncle Akihito. Answered yes. Then he slapped me in the face. When he slapped me, I finally realised how stupid I was for being taken in by him. That's right, it was my fault. I destroyed the happiness I had hoped to last forever with my own hands. If I hadn't been that stupid, my father wouldn't have had to cry like that. My mother would have stayed good. If I wasn't that stupid, it was my fault. I can't forgive my mother and Uncle Akihito. Even when I hate him this much, I still call him Uncle, and I can't forgive myself for that. It was my fault. Everything was my fault. I was too stupid and foolish, and that's why this happened. I hate her. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I can't stop being angry. If my mother ever came back to this house, I would rip her apart with my hands. But she never came back. My anger turned towards everything that my mother left in the house. I destroyed every relic my mother left behind, one after another. I threw and smashed everything. But that still didn't calm me down. Even after I turned the whole house upside down, I still couldn't calm my anger. Where does my anger gather? It starts from inside me, goes through my arms, to my fingertips, spurts from my nails. Where else can it go? So my nails aim at my own body. My body is the filthiest and most disgusting thing of all. I am the one to be blamed. No, I'm not to blame. My mother's most at fault. My mother's most corrupt. My body and soul feel filthy. I wanted to stain myself black and slice the remaining flesh into pieces. And one day, I finally realised. There are tons of maggots in my blood. I'm rotten. I'm rotten from the inside. Come on, rot more. But it's indescribably itchy. It's itchy. 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 I stabbed my thigh with a razor blade in the bathroom. See, this is all based on my favourite arc, where the maggots and the scratching and things like that, where Keiichi has the bat and kills his mates. That sounds weird to say is my favourite arc now. But and Rena, going through her situation in the main arc. The blood flowed out. Reddish black maggots spilled out. I forced myself to open my blood vessels with my thumbs. The maggots spilled out. Squirm, 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 squirm. Squirm, squirm, squirm. That's hard to say, seriously. So many maggots spilled out from my left thigh. My right thigh must have the same amount of maggots in its blood vessels. Maybe my calves too. My arms? Abdomen? Chest? No. How many maggots are there in the blood vessels in my neck? Strangely, although I've become rather insane, there's still a part of me that's calm. If I keep ripping myself apart like this, I'll end up dead. But everything's my fault, and I'm the one to be blamed. Even if I blame my mother, the only way I can disgrace her is with my own body. Oh, I get it now. That's the best means for quelling my anger. I feel like I'm thinking incredibly rationally now. In order to forgive myself, I need someone else to blame. It has to be someone else's fault, but no such person exists. No matter how much I think about it, or how I twist the logic, my own body is my own outlet to vent this anger. So long as there's no one else to blame, I'll be forced to rip open every blood vessel in my body. Just like no matter how much I scratch, it still itches. No matter how much I rip apart my own body, it's not enough. The blood's all over the bathroom, and I'm sure it makes for quite the gruesome scene. Although I'm trying to stay calm, I can't ignore the sharp pain that runs through my body. Maybe because I've lost so much blood, or maybe because I'm naked in the bathroom, I feel freezing cold. My whole body's throbbing, and my heart's beating so fast. I'm cold and hot at the same time, and I'm also sad, angry, and in pain. I want to find something that lets me forgive myself. But what? Then, it came. It came in a heavenly light. It was mysterious and unreal, like something out of this world. It apologized. It kept apologizing. Why was it apologizing? You apologize when you're at fault. So this thing I just met for the first time was admitting to wronging me. And this is Hanyu, right? That means I'm not at fault. It's at fault, not me. I dropped the razor blade. It fell into the puddle of blood. The pain is taking over my body. The pain of ripping apart my own body is taking over me. I've been telling myself this pain's the punishment for what I've done. But I'm not at fault. It is. So I don't need to accept this pain as a punishment. It reminds me of the part with Beverly in part 1 of it. He stood in the bathroom sort of dismembering. You know, that was hair, this is body parts, but same sort of thing, I think. So I don't need to defile my body anymore. She continued apologising to me over and over as I stood there covered in fresh blood. She apologised every time I wanted to blame myself, constantly whispering that it wasn't my fault. Oyashiro-sama exists. She is always following me. Slap, 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 slap. And every time I can't endure the guilt, she apologises and tells me I am not at fault. Everything's caused by the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Things started to go wrong when I broke the rule that I wasn't supposed to leave Hinamizawa. I finally remember. When I moved from Hinamizawa, one of my neighbours gave me a charm. She said that if I left Hinamizawa, I'd be cursed, so I had to take the charm. That's right, she gave me a charm. It had some complicated writing on it, but I haven't seen it since I moved here. I may have lost it. There's nothing I can do about that. If Hinamizawa residents leave Hinamizawa, they'll be cursed. My mother and I, even Uncle Akihito too, may have gone insane because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Nobody was at fault from the beginning, because everything is caused by the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Nobody's at fault. Nobody. I am finally able to forgive everything. The anger that I couldn't get rid of, even after I destroyed everything, including my body and soul, is finally gone. Father. Now I know. Curse of Oyashiro-sama is what caused my mother to leave, and for you to be so sad. You remember Oyashiro-sama, don't you? The guardian deity of Hinamizawa? That's right. People of Hinamizawa aren't supposed to go to the outside world. That's why Mother went insane. It's all because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. If we had stayed in Hinamizawa, we would have been happy. Oyashiro-sama came to me and told me that. Come to think of it, Oyashiro-sama has been trying to tell me that for a long time. After Mother left, I didn't know why she left or how to express my anger. Oyashiro-sama has kept following me ever since then to let me know that. She followed me everywhere, the sound of her footsteps echoing behind me, but I pretended I didn't notice her. I was so stupid. I didn't hear her voice until I slashed my body all over. If only I had listened to Oyashiro-sama's voice. I bet she started warning me once Uncle Akihito came into my life. If the whole family had gone back to Hinamizawa, my mother wouldn't have had an affair. We would have been happy there. I bet Oyashiro-sama has been trying to tell me that. That's right, she must have been trying to warn me ever since we left Hinamizawa. She was always with me. She followed me everywhere. I was stupid, trying to pretend I didn't notice. Everything was because of that stupidity. If I had noticed Oyashiro-sama's voice, my family wouldn't have suffered from the curse. It's all my fault. Oyashiro-sama is apologising. She keeps apologising, which means this is all her fault. So this is my fault, is it? Because this is the curse of Oyashiro-sama, right? She's apologising, saying I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oyashiro-sama is apologising repeatedly. So I'm sorry too. I'm sorry I didn't hear your voice. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We're from Hinamizawa, so we have to keep hearing your voice. Oyashiro-sama definitely exists. Can't you hear, Father? Don't you see? Oyashiro-sama's right there apologising, saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. Come on, Father, let's apologise too. Mother, you don't have to apologise. You should die because of the curse. I hate you, Mother. I hate you. Hate myself for being your daughter. These maggots are your fault. They make me itch everywhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't want that medicine. My mother got it to kill me, so I don't want it. I won't take it. I told you I won't take it. Stop. This is a curse, so you can't fix it with medicine. You won't get rid of the maggots because this is a curse. No, I don't want a shot either. Stop. It hurts. Everything's fallen into a grey world. The voices of my father and the doctor sound so far away. Even what just happened seems like it happened a long time ago. Again, I'm given the capsule, and even my memory from a minute ago is gone. Is there more? Yeah. I'm back in my bed, staring at the ceiling. In what I can see, the only thing that interests me is the hands on the clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I follow the minute hand as it goes round quickly, and the hour hand as it goes round slowly. I see other things too, but they keep going through the same motions, just like the hands on the clock. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's my fault, I'm sorry. Oishiro-sama keeps apologizing. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Repeating over and over, constantly, nothing else. The chorus of Higurashi, coming in through the window during the night, seems louder than usual. Okay. So we've seen, it doesn't say as Rena, but obviously we've played the other arc, so we know the sort of bad times she went through with her family. So, let's see where it goes from there. Most of page 1 is done. Most of page 2 is done. Most of page 3 is done. Most of page 4. A lot of page 5 is left. All 6. And I say all 7, it's not much of it. 4th year, not yet. Google family's move is required, maybe? Oh yeah, the red capsule. Of course there is. Hello? Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Ah, nice music. Oh, who are you? Ah, sorry. We just moved in next door. We're here to introduce ourselves. Pleased to meet you. Oh my, oh my. Someone as young as you moved here? I see, I see. Welcome. Mom, our new neighbour is here to say hello. Don't yell like that. Thank you for taking time to come over. They're the Ryugu family, so they've moved in. That opens up a lot of options in the fragments we can choose between. They just moved into the empty house next door. Ah, you're Rena-chan, aren't you? My, how you've grown. Aha, yes, I'm Rena. Thank you for remembering how... Sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce that. I think it's Rena. It might be Rena. Rena. I'm going to say Rena for now. I'm sorry if it's wrong. Mom, do you know her? Of course I do. You were living in Okanamaya then, so you probably don't remember. But they used to live next door. So you came back, huh? This village is better than the big city, is it? I don't remember much because I was so small when I lived here, but I feel this is where I belong. Then you'll fit right in. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. There's no need to hesitate. Being unreserved is the rule here after all. Ah yes, thank you very much. I thought I'd remember things if I walked around the village, but I still don't remember much. I do recall, however, the vivid breeze, as well as the brilliant greenery. I don't remember the village, but I remember that this is my hometown. Red scars still remain on my body. They're hardly visible, and I can't even feel them. I'm sure they'll disappear soon. Now that I'm back in Hinamizawa, sometimes I wonder who I was back in Ibaraki. In fact, I think I wasn't myself from the moment I left. And now, by coming back here, I finally regained my true self. I can hardly remember what I was like back in Ibaraki. Well, it's probably because of the red medicine. The medicine erased all my painful memories. Maybe that was for the best. I just wanted to be forgiven back then. I couldn't forgive my mother. I couldn't forgive Uncle Akihito. And more than anybody, I couldn't forgive myself. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I wasn't at fault. I wanted to be forgiven. So Oishiro-sama apologized. She told me I wasn't at fault, because it was the curse of Oishiro-sama. That's how I was able to forgive myself. I didn't have to die by tearing my blood vessels out of my body. I think people have to die because they become corrupted. That's why people try their hardest not to dirty themselves all their lives. But I'm still living, despite how dirty I am. I've been allowed to live. Is there still some filth left on me? Or am I all clean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that the me who lived in Ibaraki and the me who's here right now are two different people. I no longer feel the need to take responsibility by ripping myself apart because of the filth. After arranging some furniture and unpacking some boxes, we finally had dinner. Although I hardly remember Hinamizawa, my father remembers things very clearly. Although it was around when we lived here before, the Watanagashi festival has grown huge these days. It's held at the end of June. Watanagashi? I've never seen it myself, so I don't know too much about it, but supposedly people let cotton absorb the filth on their bodies and drift it down the stream. Absorb the filth? You can wash your filth down the stream, huh? Ah, of course. Humans are sinners. As we live every day, filth piles up on our bodies, supposedly. And once a year, we get rid of the filth by letting the cotton absorb it. People become burdened with filth and sin by doing something bad. Court sentences can settle your crimes legally, but that doesn't mean the burden of sin, of the filth, will just go away. In other words, human hands can't erase human filth in this human world. The filth is something humans can't get rid of, and that's why we need a god from a different world to do that. That's why I thought. But I'm surprised to learn about Watanagashi. Human hands erasing human filth in the human world, letting the cotton absorb the filth and drifting it down the stream. That means it's okay to live in this world. I tried to commit suicide because I couldn't forgive myself. Oishiro-sama apologized to me and told me to come back to Hinamizawa. And now, here in Hinamizawa, there's this Watanagashi, a ceremony to get rid of filth. This isn't just a coincidence. Hinamizawa is a place to wash away your filth. Forgive sins. It's a place of forgiveness. It's called a purification ceremony. I've heard of those before. Japanese culture is very strict about filth. You aren't allowed to remain in the spotlight if you accumulate too much. See, that's the reason why politicians and company presidents resign immediately once people find out about their dirty deeds. You must leave the spotlight if you're filthy. To put it in a bad way, the filth is basically pushed onto someone else, and they are held responsible for it. Sins and filth must be removed. That's why people push them onto someone else and then try to get rid of the filth by sacrificing that person. But if that's the case, every time that filth is created, people will try to pass around responsibility for it. That's awfully hideous. It's almost like seeing demons in the human world. That's why they came up with the idea of letting the cotton absorb all the filth. By doing so, people can live without making someone else take on all the responsibility, sins, filth. Putting everyone's sins onto someone and then killing that person makes that person a sacrifice. Who wants to be a sacrifice? That's why they desperately push their sins around. A purification ceremony is about replacing the human sacrifice with a non-human one. The purification ceremony dramatically changed Japanese culture. Before then, people always believed someone had to become a sacrifice. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. Filth can be forgiven by a method other than death. Only an existence higher than humans can forgive them. I was forgiven by Oyashiro-sama, came back to this place. To Watanagashi, the purification ceremony that exists here. Letting cotton absorb the filth and drifting it away. There's no need for a sacrifice. That's why I've been allowed to live. The filthy me has drifted away, so the me that remains is no longer Rena Ryugu. If I'm not Rena, then who am I? If I'm without filth, without all the icky things, who am I? A name vaguely appeared in my head. My new name that only removes one of the letters from Rena, but I think it's a cute name. All the icky things are erased, and forgiven with the removal of that one letter. So my name is no longer Rena. My name is... Da-da-da. Oh. Rena. Get rid of the I. Oh. That was a short one. But at least she's happy again. Okay, what can we get from that? We've got Ryugu family's move, 4th year's cursed, haven't done that. Ryugu family's move is required. Watermelon from Sonzaki family, we can do that. Let's keep looking. No. T-set on van. I think we'll just go for... I just want to have a quick little look at them, just in case there is more than one we can do right now. There's not, so we are very limited on what we can do from now on. For now at least. Watermelon and Ryugu family move. Let's have a look. Okay, I'll get going. Thank you. Don't mention it. Come back anytime, okay? Hi, I'm home. Hey, Uncle Hiroshi. Long time no see. Hey, Mion-chan. You going home? I have to give my clients a ride. A ride? Ah, you're talking about your realtor business, right? The Sonzaki family is one of the largest landowners here in the Hinamizawa area. However, since all land is out here in the countryside, it just ends up sitting there. Recently, the land owned by the Sonzaki family was put on sale in lots. At the family meeting, some of our relatives opposed the idea by saying we shouldn't sell off land that was handed down from our ancestors. But Granny snapped and shut them right up. Some of the unused fields were made into vacant lots and released for public sale. Actually, I had some questions about it too. The Sonzaki family is very wealthy. We have plenty of land as well as money. So why did we have to sell it all off? What's more surprising to me is that Granny was the one who came up with the idea. I would have thought she'd get furious if someone even mentioned something like that. Okay, if you're ever near the station, be sure to stop by. I'll treat you to a cup of barley tea. Sure, thank you very much. So, how's your business going? I'm surprised there are actually city folks who are interested. There must be those nouveau riche types who live in the big city and also want to have a house in the countryside. Oh, bless me. Well, I guess some people are curious. There's one family seeking to move here, not purchase a villa. He said he wants to build a studio, so he must be an artist of some sort. Kaiichi! Oh, that's great. Oh gosh, I better go now. Supposedly, he planned a tour to show them the lots, and he's the one driving the bus. It should be about time for the tour and explanations to end. He left in a hurry. Hey, can I ask you something? Why do you want us to sell our land? You don't like newcomers. I don't like newcomers and I don't like big city people either. But the village needs them. It's like ventilating in a room. Is it good for the village to have new people move in? This is a wonderful village. but the world is changing quickly. In the past, a very small change took 10 or even 20 years to happen. It was such a quiet and unchanging village. Well, that's rural life. In this village, nothing's different from yesterday and today. It's too boring for me, though. But you made a friend, didn't you? Rena Ryugu-chan moved here, and you got along great. You told me you were happy that you had a friend your age. Yeah. Making friends unexpectedly is fun. I remember you saying that school is boring when Rena-chan's absent. Do you remember that? You saying that that's the good thing about letting new people move here? No matter how cold it gets, you still have to ventilate your living space, otherwise it gets filled with bad air and you'll suffocate to death. You open the window, even knowing the freezing cold air will come in. Sure enough. Letting outsiders move here is like ventilating the village. Sure. Lets fresh air in and gets rid of bad air like us. If I bring up the Hojo family, I know Granny will explode, so I won't. But I think what Granny is trying to say includes things like their ongoing isolation. Even now, when she remembers about what happened at that explanatory meeting, she gets really upset. But I guess even she feels that needs to come to an end. But of course, she can't just say she'll forgive them, not when she's at this stubborn age. She can't lose face by openly saying they need to be forgiven. Honestly, I think she's behaving like a little schoolgirl who actually likes a person but treats them rudely when they're around. Maybe people really do go back to being children when they get old enough. I'm not just talking about Granny. The same can be said about all the old people in the village. No, maybe I should say the evil around here. That must be what she meant by bad air. There's no use circulating the air in a closed room. Unless you open the windows and let fresh air in, the air in the room won't be purified. We don't know if there's actually going to be people moving here, but don't you think you're expecting too much from whoever does? Just Rena-chan moving here changed you, Mion. Whoever moves here will change the village. If possible, I hope some young and energetic people who have the charisma to lead will appear. They need to be the ones to put us old people away into heaven. You thinking about Gramps? Damn you, nobody's thinking about him. Yeah, have the housekeeper put away the tea set on the veranda. That's, prerequisite. Okay, I will. Mion, The day Hojo Satoshi disappeared, you came to me, huh? He's already disappeared in this part. Ah, yeah, I guess I did. That is, what woke me up? This problem with the Hojo family, we can't just let time take care of it. We have to take care of it ourselves, as soon as possible. But you can't do it yourself, so you're gonna have an outsider take care of it? That's the best I can do. No matter how bad your hand is, the next card can change the flow of the game. So maybe it's a good idea to draw cards from the stack. Generation will be a new wind. Let that new wind come from the outside. And you will be the wind from the inside. When both winds create a gale, the gust will blow away the stale air from the village. That's the epitome of leaving your problems to others. You're the one who started the fire, and you're trying to have your grandchild take care of it? Oh, don't say that. As the new leader of the Sonsaki family, bring the new wind into the village. If you're saying that's my job as a successor, please, Mion. I'm too old. The only thing I can do now is to be despised by people. The wind chime sounded quietly. Maybe that's a sign to let us know a cool breeze is on the way. Like a new wind. I get it, game. Okay, let's see where we go next. I don't think I picked up on that one about the veranda and the tea set, but I'm not sure if that's enough. We'll see now. Yeah, tea set. He drew my bar inspecting a vacant lot. We haven't had that, have we? He hasn't actually been here to inspect. But I think that's all I got. Bottle of wine for toast we got. I haven't got a second one. No, I think that might be it. We haven't actually had the inspection. Let's have a look. No, it's not them. Okay. Mysterious death of the Fude couple, we got that. Maybe? Yeah, okay. Moving away from Rena a bit. Back to the Sato's. School's the children's world. The values of grown-ups don't apply. Children decide their own values and create their own world. So the rules of the grown-up world of the village don't mean anything here. Even when the villagers badmouth the Hojo family and try to isolate them, that has no meaning at our school. Even in the children's world, children decide the rules. Rules they think are irrational don't exist here. That's why, as a representative for the children here, I vow that I will never let any irrational rules come into our world. Within the school, no harassment is allowed towards the Hojo siblings. In the very beginning, some boys teased Satoko, but they were punished severely, and it hasn't happened ever since. That's the least I can do to resist the madness of the village. So I hope Satoshi and Satoko both feel that the school is a safe place for them. It's just the teacher thinking now. Satoshi must notice my concern, because he often smiles when he's here. However, I never see Satoko smile. Sadako's classmates used to try to cheer her up, but soon after they decided that it was best to just leave her alone. I used to try to talk to her, but when I realised something, I stopped doing that. I'm a member of the Sonzaki family. Nope, it's Mion. Sadako, I'm one of her enemies, so I'm sure she feels uncomfortable to have me around her. All I can do is watch over her. That's why Sadako is alone in the classroom. That said, Rika-chan is always hanging around with her, even though Sadako told her she was annoying. Satoshi too is always beside her. These two are the only ones who remain by her side. It isn't limited to Sadako, of course. The malicious isolation is still continuing towards the Hojo family. Because their hysterical aunt is so hostile towards her neighbours, there's nobody who sympathises with her. It's wise to know there are fights worth picking, and also fights better set aside. If the aunt had even a little tolerance or self-control, this isolation wouldn't have continued. Of course, the villagers were the ones who forced them into that role, even though they weren't related to the issue. But if she had stayed quiet, then it wouldn't have gone so far. The aunt's hostility is one thing, but she's dragging everyone in the family into it as well. The uncle and the aunt haven't been getting along, and he hardly comes home. Both Satoshi and Sadako are forced to live in shame. The aunt vents her stress by harassing Sadako. This was the same too. The aunt is her guardian after all, but Sadako doesn't even try to hide her disgust, so things aren't going smoothly between them. If she had behaved like Satoshi, then she wouldn't have been made into a target. So does that mean the sad life Sadako is living right now is something she caused herself? No, it doesn't. But no matter how much I sympathise and how much I want to help her, nobody knows what to do. An apology won't change the situation. The flow can't be reversed. The fact that the Hojo family is ostracised by the entire village can't be changed. That's the horribleness lurking underneath our lives. The neighbours, the village, and the community. Once they become your enemies, the world can become so cruel. Japanese people have known that since ancient times, which is why we cultivated empathy and an obligation to show courtesy to one's neighbours. No matter who I blame, Sadako won't smile. So the only thing I can do is to watch over her and make sure that she's safe when she's at school. Thank you, Mion. Sorry, what? I just want to thank you for being so concerned about Sadako. Satoshi kind of appears absent-minded. Sometimes he says things as if he can read your thought. I tried to deny it since it's out of character for me, but he smiled as if he could tell exactly what I was thinking. Sadako has just forgotten how to smile. Once she's at school, she can let go of a little tension for a while. I'm sure she treasures that time. That's basically the only thing this old man can do for her. That's not true. I really appreciate it. Stop that. You don't need to say that. Besides, my family is the one who's causing all this grief. I don't think that way. I really don't. I'm not good at reading people's subtle cues, but I know for sure what he just said is a lie. Satoshi knows that he and his family are being isolated because of the Sonzakis, and he's, of course, aware that I am a member of the Sonzaki family too. Satoshi is mature, and that's the only reason he doesn't take it out on me. If he had the same temper as his aunt, he would hate me bitterly. Knowing that, the least I can do is not get close to them. But I'm a meddlesome person. When I see Sadako looking depressed or Satoshi forcing himself to smile, I have to do something. That might be even more troublesome to Satoshi and Sadako though. Maybe I just don't understand Sadako's feelings. Why? My family is causing Sadako grief, so for me, a member of that family, to hang around her, is that the right thing to do? Sure, that's you being you. What do you mean by that? You saying I'm insensitive? I don't mean that. If this atmosphere itself is robbing Sadako of her smile, then only someone who can completely ignore it can bring her smile back. This old man can't tell if you're trying to compliment him or not. You mean? I'm not ridiculing you, really. I just want you to help. I can't make Sadako smile again by myself. I need someone like you to help me. But I'm Mion Sonzaki, you know? If I do something insensitive, I might end up hurting Sadako even more. Sadako is already lonely. You're gonna leave her alone too? This is the first time Satoshi has asked me for something so aggressively. Sadako is a very important person to him. He's saying he needs my help to make her smile again. But still, no. Maybe he's right. What's going on between the Sonzaki family and the Hojo family is an issue among the grown-ups. We children don't need to care about that. The irrational rules of the grown-ups don't mean anything in our world. So I have to object to the irrationality of the grown-up world using methods of my own. You sure Sadako won't feel bothered by me? She may, at first. But I'll be with you. I'll be with you, Mion. So she'll open up right away. You think so? Should we do something after school today? If we go home first, our aunt might say something. We might not be able to leave. Okay, then it's simple. Don't go home first. But if we get home too late, she'll ask us what we're doing. Let's see. I know. Why don't you join a club? And yes, where the clubs come in. A club? Yeah. Tell her you are going to an after-school club. Tell her that you're doing something after school before going home. There are plenty of people who go out after school before they go home. That'll be no problem. But if we mess up our clothes, our aunt will say, okay, then we'll do something indoors. Then your clothes will stay clean. Indoors? Do you mean in the classroom? But wouldn't Chie-sensei say something? It's possible to play passionately while not going wild indoors. Contrary to my appearance, I love playing games. I've collected some treasures from overseas too. Some of the manuals are written in English and are a little complicated, while with some of them I need someone to play with, so a lot of them are just sitting in the storage room. Do you think Satoko can play those too? Sure. If you don't know the rules, then you just make them up. As long as everyone's following the same rules, it's totally okay. I said it so confidently, but would bringing games from home and asking Satoko to play with us actually make her smile again? What have I got to lose? Maybe I'll bring one of the board games tomorrow. Oh, also Mion, I have something else I want to ask you. What? This old man's all yours. Aye. I'm looking for a part-time job. Another fragment thingy. I thought if I could get her a nice birthday present, that might make her feel better. Oh, okay. Let's check that one out first. See if there's another requisite that we haven't done. You never know. Yuga families move fourth year. No. No. Part-time job. Footsteps following Satoshi. I don't think we've seen footsteps for him. High fever is required. Death of Kazumi. I'm not sure. We haven't seen any of that stuff. Complete run of the medicine? No, I didn't think so, but I needed to check. Death of Koizi? I don't think this has happened. No. Because we had a phone call off him not long ago, so I was fine. I'm just checking a few of them, to be honest. Satoshi Ozo's part-time job. Footsteps following Satoshi. Oh, so he has had footsteps following him. I can remember hearing about that in this arc. Okay. I see. No, you don't need to do that. You're a promising member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. We save your spot. So you can come back anytime, okay? This is where Satoshi leaves the team, I guess. I don't know about that, though. I have no idea when I can come back, so I thought I should resign at least for now. Satoshi-kun says he wants to quit the Hinamizawa Fighters. I know very well of Satoshi-kun and Satoko-chan's situation, so I was expecting that he might say this. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt has gotten worse, to the point that it can be considered abuse. When someone from the Child Consultation Centre came, of course her aunt behaved herself. Then immediately after, her harassment turned even more vicious. According to the neighbours, the aunt's scolding and Satoko-chan's crying can be heard nightly. Sometimes it goes on past midnight. Satoko-chan's weekly physical checkup results are slowly growing worse. And we're trying to keep her stable by increasing her medication. But unless her relationship with her aunt improves, she's sure to go terminal and sink into madness. Although, she isn't the type to become deranged, even at the terminal stage. She's the type who holds everything in, harbouring her insanity inside. Just like she pushed her parents off the cliff 2 years ago, Satoko-chan may kill her aunt. Thanks to the mountain dogs, the incident was resolved as an accident, and Uishi stepped aside, although he is still suspicious. If something like that happens again around Satoko-chan, he's sure to investigate her mercilessly. I can't do anything more about Satoko-chan's environment changing for worse. So I'm not surprised to hear that Satoshi-kun wants to quit the baseball team so he can be with his sister more. Actually, I'm starting a part-time job. That's why I can't come to practice. A part-time job? Is this something you want to buy? Yes. It's almost Satoko's birthday. It's a teddy bear Satoko has been looking at, and I want to get it for her. That's right. I remember the birth date on her insurance card. I think it's June 24th, right after the Watandagashi festival. I see. You're such a good brother. I'm sure Satoko-chan will be thrilled. I hope so. I can tell Satoshi-kun is also stressed out. To him, seeing Satoko-chan being harassed is the same thing as being harassed himself. His stress can be released through moderate exercise, such as with sports, and also with plenty of rest. If Satoko-chan's being yelled at nightly, then it's easy to figure out that Satoshi-kun isn't getting enough sleep either. I don't know what kind of job he's starting, but I don't think he will be able to vent his stress on it. In fact, I don't like the idea of Satoshi-kun taking a part-time job, because he's already so worn out in every way. I asked him if he wanted me to help him pay for the present, but of course he declined the offer. It's a present from him, so he wants to earn the money himself. He's taken this part-time job only to earn enough money to buy Satoko-chan's present, so it'll be a temporary thing. If it's for a short period of time, maybe it won't be that bad. While I want to stop him from working because I don't want him to get even more stressed, since he says Satoko-chan's birthday is near, I don't think I can stop him. Satoshi-kun is determined. If I say any more, I may lose his trust, so I'll have to accept his leave of absence. Oh, coach, can I maybe borrow a bat? I completely misunderstood his words. Later I found out he carried around that bat to protect himself, and realised that, even then, he was already showing some dangerous symptoms. He believed that there would be a fourth mysterious death this year, and that he would be the victim. He became obsessed with the idea that someone was after his life. That is a symptom of Hinamizawa syndrome's terminal stage. But although I was involved so deeply with the syndrome, I was careless. A bat? What do you need a bat for? Satoshi-kun had his own bat, so he should have asked if he could take it home, but instead he asked if he could borrow it. When I think about it now, he said it that way to lighten his guilty conscience. How could I have known that then? Well, although I can't come to practice, I think I'll have a little time to practice swinging on my own. That's great. Sure, please take it with you. But make sure you do it in an open space, okay? If it won't bother your neighbours, it's good practice to hit a hanging tyre. Swinging a bat can release stress, so letting him take his bat home will help. That's what I thought. But that was a huge mistake. I realised it only when things were already past the point of no return. Ah, okay. And there was a fragment that was just, he has a bat, kind of thing. So I think we're going to be resolving Satoshi's stuff before anything else by the looks of it. I might be wrong, but that's what it feels like to me. Wait, have we done any of the 5th? Yeah, we have. So it is just 6th and 7th mostly left. Should we? No, I better leave it there, I think. But it is going to be this one, and then I assume the one where the aunt is killed on the first page. So that'll be 2 pages done completely, and that'll be good. But yeah, this has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit when we check out the good beating. Thanks again for watching, folks. See you again in a bit.